Hello there, and a very warm welcome to today's Explainer. You know, if you've been looking out at your garden lately and wondering if you've somehow missed the boat this year, I want you to just take a deep breath, maybe make yourself a cup of tea, and settle in. Because you are in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. I am so glad you're joining me today because we are going to look at the gardening season in a completely new light.
I want to kick things off with a statement that might actually catch you slightly off guard. Ready? June is the most important planting month of the entire year. Not early spring, not May, June. I know, that surprises a lot of people. Every gardening calendar and television show makes it sound like spring is the only time things happen. Like if you missed March or April, you've somehow missed your chance. But that is simply not true. Right now, thousands of savvy gardeners across the UK and the USA are planting crops in June that will produce incredibly generous harvests running all the way through summer, autumn, and deep into winter, while everyone else is just packing up their trowels and waiting for next year. Oh, and speaking of surprises, the ninth and final crop on our list today is one that almost every gardener assumes is far too late to plant right now. I promise you, the truth about this final crop is going to completely change the way you think about the growing season. But we'll get to that one at the very end.
And this brilliantly illustrates why June is so magical. It's actually quite simple. You see, planting right now in these specific conditions is not catching up, it is planting at the absolute perfect moment. Just think about it. The soil is finally deeply warm. The nights are wonderfully settled without any of those nasty late frosts sneaking up on us. And we have these long, beautiful midsummer days that literally trigger explosive growth in your plants. The crops we're about to discuss, they have been quietly waiting for exactly these warm temperatures to hit their stride. Putting them in the ground now means they aren't going to just sit in cold, wet soil and sulk. They are going to take off like a rocket. It's an incredibly exciting opportunity, so let's dive straight into our list.
Our very first essential crop is French beans, and there is genuinely no better time to get them in the ground than right now. French beans are true warm season plants. If you sow them back in April, they just sit there, shivering in the cold soil, and sometimes they just rot away completely. But sow them now, they'll germinate beautifully in just 5 to 7 days. They'll grow with extraordinary speed, giving you a generous harvest in as little as 8 weeks. For a June planting, look for the variety Cobra if you want a climber that produces masses of stringless pods. Imagine pulling long, tender, emerald green pods right off the vine. Now, if you're growing in containers, Annabelle is a superb dwarf variety, and Safari offers absolutely exceptional disease resistance. Your main tip here is to direct sow them about 5 centimeters deep into rich soil. But here is the truly fascinating fact about French beans. The more you pick them when they're young and tender, the more the plant produces. It's a wonderful little cycle. But the moment you stop picking and let those seeds swell up inside the pod, the plant thinks its job is done and stops producing entirely. So keep picking and they'll reward you well into September. There really is nothing quite like the snap of a fresh French bean you've grown yourself.
Moving on to crop number 2, courgettes. For many of us in cooler climates, early June is actually the absolute ideal time to plant these. Courgettes planted right now go straight into that gorgeous warm soil and take off with a vigor that April-planted ones rarely, if ever, match. The varieties that perform brilliantly for a late sowing include Defender, which has just outstanding disease resistance. Then there's Romanesco, a beautiful, ridged Italian variety with a wonderful nutty flavor that is simply sensational when roasted. And if you want something truly delightful, try 8-Ball. They literally produce round courgettes the exact size of a tennis ball. Plant them in the richest soil you have, water them consistently, and give them a high potash feed from mid-July. This simply encourages the plant to focus on pushing out more flowers and fruit rather than just growing massive leaves. And here's your surprising fact. Much like our beans, small courgettes taste infinitely better than large marrows. Keeping them harvested small is the secret trigger that keeps the plant producing continuously until the very first frosts of autumn. Bringing in a basket of these every few days is, for sure, one of the true joys of the summer kitchen.
Oh, and just a really quick reminder as we move along, the absolute most surprising June crop, the one that completely breaks all the rules, is still waiting for us at the end of this list.
Okay, crop number 3 is basil. Now, so the crucial point is, planting basil in June isn't just a convenience, it is exactly what the plant demands. Basil is a tropical soul at heart. It absolutely hates cold nights. If you put it outside too early, the leaves turn yellow or black and it just never truly recovers. But planting in mid-June into reliably warm nights gives you lush, incredibly aromatic growth. There is nothing like brushing past it and catching that intoxicating, peppery, sweet scent. Genovese is your classic large-leaved pesto basil.
Mrs. Burns Lemon has a stunning citrus scent that's perfect for summer salads, and Purple Ruffles looks incredibly ornamental while offering a lovely spicy kick. Just be sure to give it the sunniest, most sheltered spot you have, perhaps tucked against a south-facing wall, and keep the soil nice and moist. And here is your golden rule and fascinating fact for basil. You must regularly pinch out the growing tips. If you let a basil plant flower, the leaves completely lose that rich, intense flavor we all love. Keep pinching, and it will keep giving. You'll be making fresh pesto right through to the end of summer.
Our fourth crop is one of my absolute personal favorites, beetroot. A June sowing actually produces some of the finest, sweetest beetroot of the entire year. Because it matures in the gentler warmth of late summer and early autumn, it develops a deeper sweetness and a much tenderer texture than the crops grown through the blazing heat of peak summer. Look for Boltardi, which is incredibly reliable and won't bolt on you. Chioggia is a stunning heritage variety with pink and white rings inside. Honestly, it looks spectacular sliced thinly in a summer salad. And Pablo gives you perfectly smooth, uniform roots. Now make sure you water them regularly, as letting them dry out will cause those roots to become woody and tough. But here is a delightful little quirk of nature about beetroot. Actually, scratch that, it's more of a secret. Those knobbly little seeds you plant, they're actually clusters. Each one contains 2 or 3 separate seeds, so when they pop up, you will need to gently thin them out to leave just the strongest seedling. I know thinning them out feels a bit harsh, but it absolutely guarantees you those perfectly plump, sweet roots come autumn.
Well, we are officially halfway through our list today, and that final paradigm-shifting crop is getting closer. Hang in there, it's well worth the wait.
Right, crop number 5 is the outdoor cucumber. With cucumbers, planting in June isn't a compromise. It is genuinely the right approach. Cucumbers deeply resent cold roots. Planting them any earlier is a massive risk. But early June offers those warm, settled conditions they crave. That means they'll grow away immediately, and you'll be harvesting exactly when the August weather is at its absolute warmest, offering you that crisp, cooling bite just when you need it most. Crystal lemon is astonishingly productive and produces round, pale yellow fruits with a beautifully mild flavor. Market More is your sturdy, reliable dark green choice, and Burpless Tasty Green is wonderfully smooth and incredibly easy to digest. Plant them in a warm spot, train the main stem up a cane, and here's a tip. Pinch out the top tip when it reaches the top of the cane. That encourages it to bush out and produce even more fruit. And just like our beans and courgettes, remember this crucial fact. Leaving cucumbers on the plant for too long signals to the plant that its job is done, which completely stops new fruits from forming. Keep them picked, and your summer salads will be endlessly refreshing.
Crop number 6 is kale. And I have to say, planting this right now is simply one of the wisest things you can do for your future self. A June-planted kale has the perfect amount of time to build a very strong root system and sturdy stems through the summer. Then, exactly when all your other summer vegetables are finishing up and looking a bit tired, your kale steps right into the spotlight. It acts as a literal winter food factory, giving you fresh, highly nutritious leaves in October, November, December, and right through to February. Cavola Nero is magnificent with its dark, strap-like leaves and a rich flavor that actually gets even sweeter after a frost. Red Russian is beautifully mild, and Dwarf Green Curled is absolutely perfect if you're growing in pots. Your one crucial tip here is to net the young plants during the summer to protect them from cabbage white butterflies. But once they're established in autumn, they're robust enough to look after themselves. Let me tell you, knowing you have fresh greens out there braving the snow in the dead of winter is one of the most comforting feelings a gardener can have.
Crop number 7 brings us to climbing runner beans. You know, you might not know this, but June is actually the main sowing month for experienced vegetable gardeners. Sowing in May often means losing your precious plants to late frosts or hungry slugs. A June sowing perfectly sidesteps all those risks. The seeds germinate swiftly, and the plants time their flowering perfectly for the warm August weather, which really helps the pods set reliably. Scarlet Emperor is an absolute classic. Enorma gives you incredibly long, tender pods that are just a dream to cook with. And Painted Lady, well, it has striking bicolored red and white flowers that look as beautiful as any ornamental plant in your borders. Simply sow the seeds at the base of 2.5-meter canes and feed them well once they flower to give them the energy to produce heavy pods. And the golden rule returns once again. Picked regularly, they will feed you for 8 to 10 glorious weeks. Left to get large and stringy, the show is completely over. Keep at it, and your kitchen will be absolutely brimming with them.
We are nearly at the end of our list, which brings us to a very important question. What is the most overlooked June planting? Let's take a look at crop 8, right before our big reveal.
Crop 8 is mixed salad leaves. This is perhaps the fastest, easiest, and most rewarding thing you can possibly do right now. A June sowing of mixed leaves, like a spicy salad mix with rocket and mizuna, or a lovely mild and sweet mix, will germinate in just days. You barely even need to cover the seeds with fine compost because they actually need light to germinate beautifully. And the magic fact about these cut and come again varieties is this: if you snip off the outer leaves with scissors but leave the growing center completely intact, that single plant will push out fresh new leaves for you to eat again within just 10 to 14 days. A single pot sown in June will effortlessly feed a household all summer long. Honestly, nothing beats walking out to the garden with a pair of scissors and returning with a bowl of crisp, vibrant leaves for dinner.
Now, what's really interesting about this next one is, well, we have finally arrived at crop 9. And we need to dismantle everything you've likely been taught about it. I call it the Great Garlic Assumption. Hear me out, because I know exactly what you are thinking right now. Everyone knows garlic is an autumn crop. You plant it in October or November. And yes, for traditional hardneck varieties, that is absolutely true. But to assume June is completely off-limits for all garlic is simply a myth. There's an entire world of garlic that thrives when planted right now. Softneck varieties can go in now for a late summer harvest. Elephant garlic can be planted now to establish magnificent, massive bulbs for next year. But the real secret I want to share with you today is green garlic.
So, let's talk about how to actually do this. If you visit specialist nurseries right now, you can find green garlic modules. These are young garlic plants ready to go straight into the ground today. Plant them in full sun with well-drained soil, water them during dry spells, and by September, something astonishing happens. You will pull fresh, whole garlic bulbs directly from the soil. And the wonderful thing is the flavor. Fresh pulled, undried, homegrown garlic has a flavor that is so vivid, so alive, and so wonderfully complex. It is completely unlike anything you have ever bought in a supermarket. It is a genuine revelation. By planting this incredibly overlooked crop in June, you are setting yourself up for one of the most deeply satisfying moments a gardener can experience in the kitchen.
So, here is your June action plan. I really don't want you to feel overwhelmed by this list. I just want you to start. Step 1. Choose just one crop from this list today. Pick the one that excites you the most. Step 2. Get the seeds or young plants this week. Step 3. Prepare the simplest possible space. It doesn't need to be a massive allotment. A single pot, a small raised bed, or just a quiet corner of a border is absolutely perfect. And Step 4. Plant it in the ground before the end of June. It really is that achievable.
I want to leave you with this thought today. June is your moment. The gardening season is not over. For these 9 magnificent crops, it is just beginning. You are right on time. If this explainer has helped you out today, please give it a like. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss what we're learning next. And most importantly, drop a comment below telling me which of these 9 crops you are going to plant this June. I genuinely read every single comment, and I cannot wait to hear what you are growing. After all, if June is actually the beginning of the best harvest of the year, it makes you wonder, what other gardening rules are we following that are simply waiting to be broken? Happy gardening, my friends!